on this episode of the Naturist Living Show, Going Braless.
This episode of the Naturist Living Show is brought to you by Bare Oaks Family Naturist Park. At Bare Oaks, we offer traditional naturist values in a modern setting. Free your body, free your mind. www.bareoaks.ca.
Welcome, dear listener, to episode 146 of the Naturist Living Show. And today we're actually going to talk about clothes. But before we talk about clothes, let's talk about supporting us with Patreon.
Yes, thank you so very much to all of our dedicated Patreon supporters. And this episode is brought to you especially by Frank L., Michael R., Chris E., Jacob J., and Maurice M. Thank you so very much to all of you for your continued support. You have allowed me to begin focusing more of my time producing and editing the show. It is so incredibly motivating and appreciated. If you're not already a Patreon and would like to support me, head over to patreon.com/naturistlivingshow. Thanks again, and now for the rest of this episode.
So going braless isn't exactly about naturism, although it is a piece of clothing which is fairly useless. And in fact, I think next to a bathing suit, it may be the most useless piece of clothing I can think of. Certainly some women wear a bra because they need to support it and it's more comfortable. Although some people have argued that that support comes because of a lifetime habit of wearing them and the breasts needing the support. But generally, bras are worn to enhance the breasts, to make them look, I guess, like they're just post-pubescent breasts, all perky and standing up at all times. But also at the same time, to hide the nipples, because that is something we don't want to see, which always confused me. Like, if we are trying to enhance the breasts and show them off, why is the nipple then such a secret? And that part is offensive. And it is offensive. People get upset when women aren't wearing bra. We'll tell them off. I've heard so many stories from women about this, and I can't believe that so many people are so judgmental. Men, of course, some of them have a fetish about it, and I can understand how you may not want to go out without wearing a bra because of the attention that you get, which is very similar to the same reason that people are not going top free on beaches, even when they have the right to do so, unless they're very determined. And that's what it takes to a certain extent to go braless, unless you wear clothing that hides that very effectively. But why should you have to? I don't. Certainly when it's cold outside, and if I'm wearing a t-shirt, my nipples show through and nobody will ever say anything or even think anything. But if a woman does it, it's either a turn on or a turn off or offensive or just something that people are going to talk about and notice. And I'm not sure why that is. So that's always intrigued me. So when I stumbled across a series, it's a couple years old, of a young woman who has decided that she, for health reasons, as you'll hear, decided to go braless, and she documented her journey. In short YouTube clips, and it's very genuine. She's clearly not trying to get attention. She's trying to just do it, I guess, perhaps for herself. It's like a diary. But she did get a lot of attention, some good, some bad. And I thought, she seems so genuine and so determined. I really thought this would be an interesting person to interview and to discuss the whole topic with. So I contacted her and she enthusiastically agreed. So let's listen to this very interesting interview. So it's lovely to meet you, Amber.
You too.
Do you want to start by telling us just a little bit about who you are?
Yeah, so I'm Amber, and I run the Braless Diaries channel on YouTube. I started that probably about 4 years ago. I probably should check those things and prepare a little bit beforehand, shouldn't I? But I've been doing that for a number of years. and it took off right away. I did a little bit of research before I started it and found that there's nothing quite like it on YouTube, a dedicated channel to the topic of having a braless lifestyle, especially one that documented the process from day one. So I had seen there was videos of people that put up a one-off of, hey, I'm starting this, or, go ahead and give it a try. But it wasn't like a years-long running thing for them like my channel was. So I think that's where part of the success came from too. But I originally decided to do it for health reasons. So nothing, fashion-wise there. Not a whole lot of other inspiration other than health reasons that I had read about.
So it wasn't a body liberation or female empowerment thing or anything like that?
No, surprisingly not. Cancer, especially like breast cancer and uterine cancer and thyroid cancer, which are all related, run very deep in my family. My mom had thyroid cancer at age 24. My aunt had stage 2 breast cancer, ended up having to have lymph nodes removed. My grandmother had breast cancer. I mean, it's all over my mom's side of the family. And it for me, I realized it wasn't so much a matter of if I ever got cancer, it was a matter of when.
Oh,
and
that's heavy.
Yeah. So I wanted to do everything that I could in my lifestyle to prevent that, with some of, the things that I can do day to day. And there's a couple studies out there, one by Sid Singer, who I know that you have spoken with before. But after, reading some of those studies, I realized if I don't wear a bra 24/7 anymore, just get rid of it. I didn't quite go to the whole like burn all the bras right away. I had to kind of wean myself off a little bit, but I've realized there's a time and a place for them. As I'm sure, you experience too. You can't just live the lifestyle you want all the time. There's a time and a place for those things. And, I found that the braless lifestyle isn't you just swear them off and you never wear them again. I started that journey of mine, and then I got a gym membership. And, well, for comfort reasons, you want to wear a sports bra. If you're doing jumping jacks, I was doing like the high intensity workout, so you're always jumping and moving and running, and it's just really uncomfortable to not wear a sports bra. So I realized, okay, I have to make an exception for that. And if I was going to some kind of formal event or something like that, or a job interview, it was in my best interest to appear professional or whatever it was. So, I'd have them on for an hour or two, maybe even less, a day, on the days that I needed them. So I went from wearing, 18, 20 hours a day or whatever it was, to less than an hour, maybe 4 to 5 times a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean, we you're right. We live in the world that judges us the way we are. I as a naturist, of course, I'm very much against the use of clothing for status or for anything other than protection. But of course, that's not the way it works in the mainstream world. And I've got some really nice clothes. I know how to play that game too when I go out there, because I am judged that way. So I know what you mean. You have to. You can't live in our own little fantasies, unfortunately, even though we'd like to sometimes. So.
Yeah.
You know what I really loved about your series, your YouTube series, is it really was like a diary, and I felt like you were, saying a dear diary. Yes, you were talking to an audience, but you didn't seem to care too much. You were doing this for yourself, and it was really genuine. But you have a very successful channel, and did you expect that?
I did not, because my filming quality, I'll admit, was subpar, even for the time that I had started. And I felt like I didn't really do that great of a job. But unfortunately, I believe a lot of the success was because the sexualization of everything. Out of 100 comments on any given video, 99 of them would be men commenting on my looks and, you know,
Yeah.
catcalling and things like that.
You obviously deleted all those comments.
Honestly, I think YouTube takes and filters out the majority of them. Some of the really bad ones, obviously, I had to take down. But the more mellow stuff I did keep because of the unfortunate algorithm and, you know, trying to make every cent that you can out of the time and money that you invest in making those episodes and putting them out there. So I did have to leave, you know, a few of them, but after probably a month or two, I stopped even reading the majority of the comments. I would just kind of skim through, and if I saw a very long one, it usually turned out to be another woman commenting, "Hey, thank you for doing this. You know, I'm actually starting this journey myself," and telling me her story. So I could kind of filter through my comments that way and, you know, see which ones I should read versus a lot of the chaff that was in there. So it's unfortunate that I feel like that's where a lot of my success came from, but I did have a lot of great back and forth with some fans who were genuine about my experience and wanting to do it for themselves and things like that.
So in that journey, I've watched a lot of them, but people listening have not. You grow. In the beginning, you were very self-conscious. You were trying to hide your nipples. You were using pasties and Band-Aids, and you're not wearing a bra, but you don't want anybody to know it, right?
Right.
And why is that? What were you concerned about?
Because I was doing it for health reasons and not the, you know, freedom aspect of it. I feel like I was still self-conscious about it because I had all of those other things to deal with, and that I felt like I couldn't be myself. And I had to give the people around me time to adjust to the lifestyle that I was living because I didn't want comments and I didn't want it brought up to me, to my face, really. So for me, the channel was really about how to adapt to that lifestyle when you're someone like me who wants to do it more for the health reasons, but still come across as an average. I don't even know how to describe it because there really is no such thing as average and normal, but to not appear out of the ordinary when it comes to that aspect, you know. We can color our hair and things like that that are socially acceptable and have piercings and giant holes in our face, but to just be our complete naked self is taboo, we know, right? So,
Yeah.
and me and, you know, some of the other audience might not be ready for that step. So I tried to take the angle and steer the direction of the channel towards how to clothe yourself and dress yourself to maintain the modesty portion of it by using whatever you have at your disposal, like Band-Aids and pasties, which are not just for strippers.
But you evolved over the 2 years.
I did.
This was really a 2-year series. And so what happened?
I felt more and more comfortable as it went on, because there were days when I didn't put on my pasties and I realized, you know, everybody can see me. And the more I did that, the more comfortable I got in my own skin. One thing I noticed with my progression watching my videos is you can see even my posture is when I start, my shoulders are very far forward and I'm tucking everything back. And I have my hands up to my chest all the time, so you can't see anything. And as it goes on, I'm in a much more relaxed posture because I just gave up caring what you see in front. But
it wasn't just for the video. You went outside,
Yes.
without pasties, with your nipples potentially being noticeable by people. Oh my gosh. Did you
Correct.
get reactions?
I have not had anybody say anything to my face to this day.
Really?
So it's been exactly what I could have hoped for. I feel like I did it slow enough and eased into it slow enough. One of the suggestions I do give in my videos is to start in the winter. Where I live, probably where you live too, it snows in the winter and you got to wear a lot of clothes. So there's a lot of layers to cover things up. So that made the transition a lot easier too. But I think the more you just do it, not necessarily forcing yourself, but let yourself get comfortable and just grow into it, the easier it is. If it takes you a year, that's fine. But you're going to experience the health benefits from it, even if you only wear a bra to work, and then you take it off right when you get home. I mean, that's going to be enough.
Well, even if, let's assume there is no major health benefits, there's actually no downside either.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, the bra doesn't do anything. I don't need to wear a bra, and I can wear a T-shirt and have my nipples poking through. Nobody ever says anything or even thinks anything. In fact, I don't even have to wear a T-shirt, and nobody says anything.
See, that's kind of a sore spot for me. Is one thing I noticed too is, the guys at work, it was very, very cold all the time, and you could always see theirs. And I'm like, why is that such a big deal to everybody if they can see mine? So I think that was something that kind of helped me get comfortable, because I'm like, what, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah. Well, the thinking behind it is just always puzzled me, because a bra for really is there to enhance women's breasts, but also to hide the nipples. So it's like, okay, we want to really point out that you have breasts, but we want to pretend you don't have any nipples. I'm not sure why that happens. It seems contradictory.
I even seen bras that have fake nipples on them.
Really?
So then it looks like you're not wearing a bra.
Wow.
And that just made me face palm myself. Because I'm like, pick one. So
as you said, you got an audience that was not all the right audience, which is unfortunate. Because your message and what you're doing was very real and not at all sexualized in any way. You're a very genuine person when you talk. You seem very real, and I that's what kind of grabbed me, because there's all these people who are personalities on YouTube. They're always trying to get my attention. It's like, yeah, whatever. But you just seem to be doing it because you were interested. But all that attention that you still got anyway, how did that feel? You kept going for 2 years.
yeah, I largely ignored, any of the sexualized comments. And I would try and get feedback, and I'd have to, again, sift through all the chaff. But the actual genuine responses I would get, I'd act on that. If people wanted to see something because that's what, they had the interest in, I'd go for it. Next episode, let's talk about that.
So, well, that's good. I'm surprised, because a lot of women who are on social media, who put themselves out there, it ultimately hurts their soul, and they just get kind of creeped out and don't want to keep doing it. So you're obviously pretty strong.
I ignored it. I was like, oh, that's not something I'm okay with. We're just going to move that off to the side.
But you didn't ignore it. You saw it. So yeah, and then you told it to go away. So, well, good for you, because that's what's important.
Water off a duck's back, I guess, is what it was.
Now, looking at the videos, there's huge discrepancies in number of views. And honestly, I can't quite figure out why. There's one that has over 6 million views, and some only have a few thousand views. Do you have any idea why?
Yeah. Any video that I did that I didn't really show how clothes fit on me, if I was just standing there in a t-shirt holding up my old bras, that's in a video where I'm talking about the different kinds of bras between nursing bras and the extreme Victoria's Secret push-up bras. Nobody was interested in that because I was in a black t-shirt. You couldn't see anything. And a lot of women already know what all the other bras were. So I'm like, oh, don't do that again.
Okay.
But the ones that did get tons of views, I was wearing more form-fitting clothing that might have been lighter, that I was trying to make a point of, this is the stuff that makes everything more visible. This is what you should stay away from if you're trying to maintain the modesty end of it. And those are the ones that got all the hits because they were the ones that they could sexualize more, see more of me, unfortunately. So I think that's where the high hitting views really came from.
But even the 6 million view one, yes, you're wearing some little, I don't know, is it like a camisole, or would you describe that? But there's others where you can still see that your nipples are there, and they don't have 6 million views. I looked at all of them and I went, I can't quite understand. I'm totally buying, yes, I understand, because I have the same problem with our videos. The most people who are listening to our message about body acceptance and desexualizing the human body actually are looking at doing the opposite. And yeah, the world is full of those people and we can't make them go away. So, but
unfortunately,
and frankly, like really your nipples through your shirt is a thrill. No offense, but it's like really.
We're definitely on the same page of that.
Like the internet's full of porn everywhere. Like, like really? This is
And this is the page you choose to act like that. And I mean, it definitely bothered me at the beginning. And I'm married. I have 2 kids. And I was, I asked my husband, like, are you okay with me continuing this channel? Because we're very respectful of each other. We have a lot of trust. I mean, we've been married 10 years. We have a very good relationship. And he's like, if you don't like it, don't do it. But I trust you to do what you feel you have to do. And if the guys on there are freaking you out, just delete everything. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not going to stop my message for these creeps on the internet who choose this educational channel to behave like a heathen. I'm going to get my message to the people that need it. And if other people sit there and try to interrupt it, to heck with them.
Yeah. We have the same view on that one, which is that we're not doing it for them. We're not pandering to them. And as long as we're not, then that's okay. Right? Mm-hmm. You're not trying to get that audience. So, but it sounds like you were monetizing it. So you did make something off of this.
Yeah, I did have to invest in equipment, like better cameras and a better computer that could actually handle like the software instead of working off like a 10-year-old MacBook. That way the quality of my videos could improve. So when I was able to monetize, I did, but I still didn't make a bunch. And my channel has since been demonetized. So
why?
Because of inactivity on it. Because I haven't done anything for a while. I feel like I ran out of content to some extent, because the only videos that were getting views were the outfit ones where I was trying stuff on and showing what it looked like. And the education part of it just wasn't there. I felt like I was running out of that. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't getting as much interest as I was hoping for. So I just kind of let it go. I would get a lot of offers for collaborations though, from sources I wasn't that thrilled about. I did end up doing one that offered some clothes. So I tried to pick out outfits that would help with the modesty, and I tried those on and it went well. But I just felt like that took a different direction for my channel. I didn't want to sit there and sell out what I was doing for a specific clothing maker who didn't specialize in like braless things. So if another bra maker who would have approached me, who was very against the underwire and, the right kind of thing, I would have considered it, because there are bra makers out there who make garments that offer the minimum support and just offer just enough modesty and aren't meant to be worn all the time like a second skin, So that was something I would have considered, but nobody ever came that route. But there was a lot of other clothing places that hit me up, and I was just like, no, thank you. Not the direction I want to take anymore. And I had a lot of fans ask if I had other ways to support the channel, quote, unquote, kind of hoping for like an OnlyFans account and things like that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
absolutely not. It's just this channel, and it's going to stay like that.
No, we have one YouTube video from last year that I didn't expect to be successful, and it's over 5 million views now. And I know 95% of them at least are people who are probably actually quite disappointed because they expected a lot of nudity. There isn't. It's more instructional, and that makes me happy. Occasionally, I've been getting comments about how disappointed and how stupid the video and boring it is. And I leave those on because I think it's great. Yes, it is boring if that's what you're looking for.
It's a little victory every time, isn't it?
Exactly. So, that's... But I know that probably maybe 5% of 5 million are interested in the message, and so that's good. 5% of 5 million is better than 5% of 100. So I'm overall happy you're still getting the reach. But we never managed to monetize because there's a nudity aspect that the topic is, and so it's not age restricted, but there's this middle category where YouTube says, okay, yeah, but it's too sexy for us, even though it's nothing to do with sex, but people cannot get their minds around the idea that not wearing clothes can be non-sexual. I'm going to start preaching, so I'll stop right now.
Preaching to the choir, it's fine.
And so they went there and they said, no, you can't monetize it. And I mean, I don't know how much money we would have made even on 5 million, but still, it's the principle of the thing.
Yeah, it's not much. Even with the 6 million views, it's not much.
No, I know. But they're running ads and making money on our content anyway. Like they've demonetized you and it's still running. You're still getting clicks and views, and they're making money.
I have tried taking all the ads off of my videos in retaliation for the demonetization, and it didn't work.
Oh. So as you were going through this process, getting back to this whole journey that you took, did you ever get to a point where you also saw it as an equality thing, a liberation thing, the free to nipple hashtag and all that?
Definitely. It was at that point I had mentioned earlier where I noticed all the guys at work had their nipples poking out through their clothes, and I was like, let's screw this. And I think that was really the turning point of starting to feel comfortable and go braless more often. And that's about the time when I stopped wearing a bra to work. And even doing the pasties and the Band-Aids, because I was like, no. And I worked with all men. It was manufacturing environment, a lot of heavy industrial work. So all of my employees, I'm a manager, all of my employees were men. And I just said, you know what, screw it. I'm not doing it. And not a single one of them made a comment. I never noticed any strange looks. And I think that helped boost my confidence too, and that I was doing the right thing. And it made me feel good that I wasn't being objectified because of it, and I was still just me. I didn't feel any changes in anything. So I was able to be myself, be a more natural self, be what I was comfortable in, because bras are not comfortable. And I could be comfortable physically, emotionally, mentally, wearing what I had to wear without a bra.
Yes. You definitely, after, near the end of the first year, probably, you get much more defiant. You can just see it in your, in your look and how you're talking about it. It's, Yeah, it's good. It's really nice to see. I just enjoyed seeing your progression. It was just kind of fun to just kind of poke through the click on all the videos one at a time and see the change and where you went there. But yeah, then you start to get fancy in your videos and you start to try to do other stuff and editing. Was that because you thought, well, I've got a lot of people, maybe I can make some money at it?
I had comments actually that the quality of my video was not good and that I needed to improve it, and they were starting to link like microphones from Amazon in the comments saying you should buy this. And I mean, I was shooting all of my videos in my very echoey basement on my iPhone 7 with no external mic. I just had it on a stick, and that was my video. And I just shot the whole thing straight through, uploaded it to YouTube just as the video off of my phone. That's how subpar my videos were. So after a while, I did YouTube, some tutorials on video editing and things like that, and tried to improve the quality of my videos because I felt like the poor quality was distracting from my message. Because when I started, I mean, nowadays the expectations for videos to watch them, just your basic thing that gets uploaded to YouTube, it's a pretty high standard. You can't just record off your iPhone anymore and upload it. That's a TikTok.
Yeah.
And even the TikTok videos are heavily edited. So I did have to do something there.
But your very first videos have that charm of being so real because of that.
They do. Yeah.
I like it. So, so so you stopped for a while. You did a couple more, I think, and then you stopped, and then you interviewed Sid Signer. How did that happen?
He contacted me. He's like, hey, I saw your channel and am very related to your message. I was wondering if you'd ever read my book and if we could have a conversation. And I was like, heck yeah, this is like a dream come true for me. I'm a massive book reader. So to actually be able to talk to an author, and especially on a topic that I'm hugely invested in, was huge for me. So I dug up my channel and I was like, we're doing this. It was very exciting, and he is so knowledgeable. So much information and experience and wisdom. And if anybody has not read his book, I would highly recommend his book. And even if you don't wear a bra, there's still tons of good information in there because it all applies to any kind of tight garment that goes around your body, whether it's underwear or socks.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really can apply to anybody no matter what. And that's the book Dressed to Kill by Sid Singer.
And Sonia.
And his wife Sonia, yep.
Yeah. And you were talking about breasts needing support sometimes when you're going to the gym, but I'm sure they told you as well that there's a lot of evidence that when you have to get used to it, but you can get your breasts used to motion as well. We wouldn't have survived very well as a species if women couldn't move very fast unless they had bras, which are only a recent invention, right?
Correct. And it was one of the things that I had asked him about, because I'm like, I kind of do notice a bit of a difference when I'm working out, but it's just those really high intensity things. But I did notice within a couple months of starting my braless journey, where I was not wearing a bra at all, that things actually got better with movement. And I wasn't getting sore. I could jump up and down and it didn't hurt. And it's explained to me that, there's the ligaments under your skin and in your muscles and things like that get strengthened because they actually have to work now. Whereas if they're in a bra all the time, or probably being supported by underwear, whatever it is, eliminate that. Now they actually have to get a workout. And the daily motion, they're strong enough to handle that. So the whole thing that not wearing a bra makes you sag, totally bunk. It
Yeah.
doesn't, because working those muscles lifts everything up. And I absolutely noticed that within a couple months, that everything tightened up and got perkier, and it still is. And I've had 2 kids, so no issues there.
Sagging happens anyway. That's life, and that's normal, and we shouldn't even think that's a bad thing.
It's something that terrifies so many women, and why they don't want to do it, because they think it's going to happen and they're self-conscious about it. And I am trying to bunk that's not true. So
It is such a fundamental part of women's identity.
it is.
A friend of mine at one point told me something that horrified me. She said that if she ever got breast cancer, she would not get a mastectomy because she could not live without her breasts. She wouldn't feel like she was a whole. It's like it's not that important. It's not like it's your hand. You don't use it every day. But it's in your psyche all your life. You're told that that's who you are. What you look like to others is your most important attribute, not your brain or what you do or anything. It's a terrible message that women have to live with. So
It is. And I'm lucky enough that I don't feel that big of an attachment. I mean, if I were presented with that issue, and I've already talked about it to my husband, about genetic testing, and that, if I do have the gene for it, I'm just going to get the mastectomy right away. I'm not messing around to wait for it to come. I don't need them.
no,
I've had my kids. I'm good.
that's right. That's right. Exactly.
But the majority of women do not have that attitude. So
No, and you can't blame them that they haven't been told any other message all their life. We're the product of society. So as you didn't get any, you got lots of gross comment on YouTube, but you didn't get any comments in real life. Did you tell friends? Did you tell families? Did you discuss it with them?
So I have told very, very few people that I'm deliberately not wearing a bra. I think it's something that my family just kind of adapted to seeing. Obviously, my husband knew right away because I talked to him about it. That was something that I wanted to do, and he was very supportive, more supportive than any bra has ever been. I'm terrible. Okay.
That's good. Keep bashing them.
So, exactly. And I told one of my cousins, because I know she wasn't wearing a bra. So I was like, yeah, so, I don't even wear bras. We got on the subject somehow. I never was like, hey, you don't wear a bra, I can tell. I actually couldn't. She was just like, oh, I'm not wearing a bra either. See, no bra strap. And then we got on that topic. So every now and then I'll find a like soul who also doesn't wear bras. And, I kind of gently bring up the conversation like, hey, isn't it awesome, like, not having to wear bras? And being free to just live your life and not worry about it. I haven't asked for like experiences much because it is a touchy subject, and I didn't want all the comments about it and people pointing it out at me, so I don't do that to others unless it gets brought up in a conversation. We kind of steer it in the direction I want to go. But I really didn't tell many people. It's not something I've ever shared on Facebook or any of my personal accounts. It's me, and I feel like it's not something that I need to show to the whole world, but I feel like everybody around me knows without saying it.
You had a Twitter account, but it's gone.
Yeah, I never used it. I'm not good with Twitter, and I never had anything funny to say, so I just got rid of that.
Well, I'm glad you have had the experience that you did in the real world, because other women have told me that they get comments, and they get comments from, things like you're attention seeking, or you're indecent, or things like that. Sometimes they get reprimanded at work. A teenage girl at Bear Oaks, our naturist park, was told by a teacher that she should be wearing a bra in class because it's distracting to the boys, which is always the stupidest thing. It's their problem, not hers. Like,
Exactly.
stop paying attention, stop staring. Like, really. Always blame women for men's challenges.
And it's not just men either. Other women bring it up to other women.
That's true.
Women tear each other down too.
Yes.
And I don't know if the reason nobody has said to my face anything about it because at work I am a manager. I outrank most people at my work. So it's like, don't don't mess with Amber.
That's right.
And I don't know if it's just the way that I come across to people that I'm like somebody you don't sit there and like tear down like that. I've never been one to tear anybody else down. And I think I've earned enough respect from other people that I haven't had to deal with any of that. But that's not to say other people who get comments about it aren't in that kind of situation either. I'm not going to say that they haven't earned the respect of people around them to not say anything. People suck.
Yes.
And they just haul off and do stuff. And it's not your fault that they do it. It's the other people. And it's just unfortunate that we live in a world that people have to judge others for the color of their skin, for how much skin you can see, how their body appears underneath their clothes. So it's just unfortunate, but it's the world we live in at the moment. And if my videos can help people live the life that they want to while still appearing normal to the mainstream, and I put normal in quotes because there is no such thing. Mm-hmm. If you want to live braless, but be able to go to work and not get hauled into HR because people can see your nipples through your shirt, go watch some of my videos. There's things that you can do for zero money. Put some Band-Aids over it. It's not going to hurt anything. But you'll get away from the bra. You won't get hauled into HR. You'll be able to maintain that modesty that you need for out in the mainstream world.
But let me ask you about that, actually. If you, I've never put Band-Aids over my nipples, but I've worn Band-Aids for a while, and your skin does get kind of, irritated by it a bit. Didn't
Mm-hmm.
bother you to have something stuck to you all day?
So, it's no different than wearing a bra, is it?
That I don't know.
You got a bra strapped around you, for 8 to 10 hours a day at minimum if you're wearing it to work. What's a Band-Aid stuck on you? I guess the only time it really bothered me, I was wearing pasties, and in the manufacturing area, we had an oven wash, and it's 120 degrees in there. And I kind of might have sweat my pasties off. But, at that temperature, you can't see anything through the clothes anyway, because it's not cold enough. Anything's going to be poking out. So it all ended up okay. But I definitely sweat my pasties off that day. So if you're going to be in 120 degree heat, probably better off just not wearing anything, aren't you?
Yes, exactly. Well, you said, it's not normal, and something, not wearing clothes when you don't need to is not normal either. But I always say, but it is natural. It's the way we're meant to be. And I think it's the same thing about wearing a bra. That's the way your natural body is supposed to be. And that we've come so far from that is almost odd. Not sure how that happened. Have you studied that? Have you looked into the history of bras and the why?
So I've actually, I'm a sewist, and I do like making clothes and things. And I actually, counterintuitively, really like corsets. However, in small doses, I never wear mine for any more than 20 minutes. I don't tight lace it. It's just for a quick costume photo shoot, and then it's off. I think they look kind of cool. If you want to distort some of your figure, accentuate things, whatever it is. But that's not me necessarily. I like to put on a role, have fun, be somebody else for a little bit.
Sure. I like to dress up at Halloween too. That doesn't mean I want to be an axe murderer if
exactly.
that's what I dress like.
I enjoy cosplays and things like that and becoming somebody else for a little bit. But because of, my work with corsetry and things like that, I have, looked up the history of bras and corsets, and it's not as bad as the mainstream has you think. There are some very good historians on YouTube, Bernadette Banner and Abby Cox, who are very entertaining to watch. And they kind of go over that history. And while not great, it's a lot of the patriarchy and, there's still, to some degree, men forcing the women. And it's a lot of fashion. It really just comes down to fashion and what the mainstream wants people to look like. And it's fun playing that role for a while. Mm-hmm. But again, at the end of the day, you take the bra off and just live your life, so.
Well, it's nice when it's a choice.
Exactly.
As opposed to something you have to do all the time.
Exactly.
Or be viewed negatively for doing it. That seems unfair and unnecessary.
Yeah. I mean, there's some nights I want to go out with my friends and I put on the huge push-up bra so then everything hits my chin. And I just want to look like that for a night.
Yeah.
But not every day. That's not me.
So what's the future for your channel?
I'm actually hoping with this sewing and garmentry stuff that I've gotten into to hopefully make some connections in the fashion industry to make clothing that caters to women who want to go braless, to help them maintain modesty and not have to wear the bra. So if there's anybody out there listening, hey, I'm your girl. But no, I'm just joking. It wouldn't necessarily be on my channel, but I'm hoping that the history with my channel would help me get into a position where I can actually make an impact like that my channel was never going to do.
And what about women's topless rights, but people in the movement prefer top free? Does that ring true to you at all?
I'm one of those live and let live people. If it came on the ballot, I'd vote for it. I don't care. Are you going to see me out there without a top on? Probably not. I'll go out there and march, without a bra. Obviously, I'll march anywhere without a bra, I guess. That's a moot point. But, if it's what people want, heck yeah, let them just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very much an equality thing. What if men can do it? Why can't women do it?
Right.
All these rationalization that it's sexual or whatever. Well, bodies are sexuals, humans are sexuals, lips are sexual. And I've heard women tell me that they like to look at men's chests too. So,
Yeah, women are just as guilty as sexualizing men. We're not maybe as vocal about it, but it happens every day. Everybody does it. So it's unfortunate, but... And also with like the topless movement, there's the whole breastfeeding movement too.
Yes.
Breastfeeding in public. And I am a huge supporter of that. And that's something that most mothers get behind, especially, my generation of millennials and, a lot of the younger crowd. It's like, it's so natural. I mean, it's been in paintings, since the history of wherever. I mean, you look up, you can find all the time, where it's just painted in women at church, feeding a child with their breasts hanging out. Mm-hmm. It's only a recent development where that's been unacceptable and taboo all of a sudden. So I think, a good place to start would be having those kinds of universal rights and treatments. I know in restaurants, a lot of places have policies against that and ask women to leave if they have to breastfeed a child. And I think getting that normalized is a huge step towards all the other movements.
It's ironic since what people are doing is stuffing their faces in restaurants anyway.
Exactly.
That Why do you have to go sit on a toilet to go and feed your child? Yeah, when Linda, my wife Linda, when our firstborn was, which was 25 years ago, and she was nursing, and she wasn't going to sit on a toilet anywhere, and she's nursing in the middle of the mall and sitting on a bench, and this little old ladies start coming over, and she told me afterwards, I wasn't there. She goes, I'm just getting ready for the argument, and they come over and they go, oh, it's so sweet.
Oh,
Isn't that? But she was all ready for a fight. She never got anybody to say anything to her. So
that's one thing I missed out on, was being able to breastfeed in public, and I'm a little disappointed about it. I didn't produce enough for my 9-pound babies that I had, so I ended up bottle feeding within a couple weeks of having them, because I do have a lot of issues with my breast tissue anyway. So I mean, I've had biopsies and procedures on them already. I have to go for yearly mammograms. So, it's unfortunate, but it's all preventative. But it didn't allow me to be able to breastfeed my children, which I was upset about, because that's so natural and it's such a great bonding experience. And it's something I feel bad about missing out on. But then the other part of me is like, I just should be glad that I had kids in the first place. I also suffer from infertility. I have all of the issues. So, I needed medication to even have them. So I feel like that kind of stems, a lot of my issues stem from how I feel like I'm lacking in my womanhood, because of those issues. I couldn't breastfeed and things like that. So I do have a lot of, mental issues like that. And the going braless thing definitely helped with that. That at least I could have this,
How old are your kids now?
6 and 2.
Oh,
So
wow.
they're not that old. Yeah.
Not that old, no. You're still at the, they're cute and they're adorable and
terrible too. Those just
yes.
hit.
They are physically exhausting, but not yet mentally exhausting. That's coming.
Yeah. And I'm thankful for that.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure everybody's told you to enjoy it now because it goes so fast.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, that's good. But you are a mom and you've given birth, and there's nothing more feminine than that, really.
Yeah. So, and even if it's not all about the femininity, I mean, at least I have my body. I am who I am. It might not work right, but it's still mine.
Well,
I'm going to take care of it the best I can.
Exactly. And enjoy your life. It's given to you. It's yours. And we all have uniqueness. That's the one thing that I appreciate with my children being raised in naturism, is they saw that there is no two bodies alike, just like there's no two faces alike, and that it's this whole idea of trying to all look the same is insane. So
It really is.
So with your YouTube channel, if you do a partnership with somebody to develop clothing, how would that translate to YouTube videos?
I'm not sure. I've just been hoping to break into the fashion end of it. I would definitely, create a couple of videos to update what I'm doing, what my line looks like, my intentions and things like that. So I would definitely do more videos if I was able to break into that kind of market. But, if I get other opportunities here and there, another study comes out, or, there's another hot topic going on, something newsworthy, I'll absolutely put out a video. And I did that when I brought my YouTube channel back from the dead that first time. You mentioned it was because Cardi B, one of her songs came out, and in the video she was breastfeeding her child in the actual video, and I wanted to make a video on that. I'm like, this is what we need to normalize. She is a very sexual person, but what she's doing, she's advocating like breastfeeding in public. That's normal. Like, it's not sexual. So, I wanted to bring attention to that part.
That's good. Well, you enjoyed interviewing Sid Singer. You can interview other people. You said you like to read. And authors love to be interviewed because they like to sell books. And so this is a topic that if you start looking at current events like you did with Cardi B, you could be very busy. Which, I don't know how much time you have between being a mom and having a full-time job and a wife. It's a lot of work, but
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the other reason too for everything that just kind of went downhill is, there was not much for content, I felt, and I was getting busy. My son at the time, he was turning 1 and he was just getting mobile, and my husband and I were just changing jobs like nobody's business, and just always trying to move up that ladder. So, and I had another one lately, so there's never any downtime, it seems like, in this kind of life. So, yeah, the YouTube channel is very hard to maintain at my stage in life, I feel like.
video is much more work than audio. That's one of the reasons I stick with a podcast.
Yeah.
Plus, you get less pervs because there's no pictures.
Exactly. Yeah, a large part of mine was the demonstration of it, though, too. I feel like,
True.
it sounds ridiculous that a Band-Aid couldn't hold your nipple back, but it does. So.
Yeah, no, it's you're right. You were doing a demonstration. You were talking about what you were wearing, and it's very visual and it's very effective. And I would definitely recommend it for anybody who wants to consider that same journey that you went through, because you can learn a lot from what you did and what you talk about.
Thank you.
As usual, links to all of the things we talked about will be in the show notes, and I'd be very interested in hearing other people's experiences going through this, and especially if it comes to work, whether anybody's ever told you had to wear a bra while you work. And I'm not sure how you, at least in this day and age, will be able to get away with demanding that kind of thing. Now, maybe that's because it's in Canada, and in other places it's totally acceptable, but I got to imagine that you can't demand that women wear all kinds of things anymore. It's not appropriate, and as it should be. So that will be all for this episode of the Naturist Living Show. So thank you again for listening. My name, once again, is Stéphane Deschênes. I'm your host for the podcast and the owner of Bare Oaks Family Naturist Park. And I work closely with Samantha Graham on the show, who makes it possible for us to keep doing so many episodes by doing all the time-consuming editing. So please support her on Patreon by going to patreon.com/Naturist Living Show. Just one word. Remember, it's not money for me. It's not money for Bare Oaks. It all goes to Samantha and to supporting the show. Please keep sending your comments and your suggestions. Always interested in hearing what you think of it. We read them all, and we appreciate them. And we also appreciate the fact that so many people tell us how much they enjoy the show, because that's really why we're doing it. Nobody's getting rich doing this. But we really appreciate the passion that people express about the show and how much they enjoy listening to it. The show's email address is contact@naturistlivingshow.com. And if you go to the show website, naturistlivingshow.com, you can also find our social media links and contact us that way. If you're a Patreon supporter, of course, you also have yet another way of contacting us, and that's even more direct. And hopefully, because the Patreon supporters are actually supporting us financially, we will make even more of an effort to try to respond. I hope you enjoyed the show, and that you'll join us again for the next episode of the Naturist Living Show.
This episode of the Naturist Living Show was brought to you by Bare Oaks Family Naturist Park. Traditional naturist values in a modern setting. Traditional values means that naturism is more than just taking your clothes off. It is a life philosophy with physical, psychological, environmental, social, and moral benefits. Bare Oaks Family Naturist Park strives to promote those naturist values in a modern setting that provides the amenities and services that our members and visitors expect. Free your body, free your mind. Learn more at www.bareoaks.ca.
Now try this new way to accent your figure. Cross your heart, see? You're suddenly shapelier. Well, that's what this new Playtex Fashion Magic cotton bra does. It crosses your heart with stretch to lift and separate. You're suddenly shapelier. This cross your heart shaping is only on Playtex regular Fashion Magic bras and new long line styles. Cross your heart. You'll be shapelier, honestly. And here's news about girdles.
Announcing a comfortable way to look 5 pounds thinner. The new 5 pounds thinner girdle by Playtex. Prove it yourself. Fingertips so. Press in. See? The new Playtex girdle has fingertip panels to hold you in firmly. Yet it's so different. Feels like nothing you've ever felt before. Look 5 pounds thinner without losing a pound. In the new 5 pounds thinner girdle by Playtex.